Roku just announced 3 new products and Roku OS X. We're gonna go through everything you need to know that's new from Roku. Coming up on the Streaming Insider. What's up, streamers? It's Jason from The Streamable, and every week I go behind the scenes of the biggest news in streaming. And this week, it's a very special edition because this morning, Roku announced 3 new devices and a whole new OS update, and we're gonna get into it in a second. But make sure you like this video. The more people who like it, the more people see it, and the more great content I can keep bringing to you. And make sure you hit subscribe and hit that notification bell, because if you are one of our first 10,000 subscribers, you have a chance to win a brand new Roku Ultra, which supports Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, so you're not gonna wanna miss your chance. But let's get into everything Roku announced today. So let's start with the smallest update. In 2019, Roku introduced the Roku Smart Soundbar, which was a full-featured soundbar with a Roku 4K streaming player inside. Then this past year, they launched the Roku Stream Bar, which was essentially a mini version of the Roku Smart Soundbar. Well, today they are rebranding the Roku Smart Soundbar to the Roku Stream Bar Pro. But on top of that, they are adding one additional enhancement. Instead of it coming with the Roku Voice Remote, it comes with the Roku Voice Remote with built-in private listening. So just like the Roku Ultra, you can just plug in your headphones and listen without audio coming through the soundbar. Also coming to the new Roku Stream Bar Pro is virtual surround sound, which is coming in Roku OS X. It will also be available on the Roku Smart Soundbar, but it basically creates a more immersive audio experience even if you don't have additional speakers and a subwoofer to create real surround sound. And we're really interested to test that, so we'll give you an update in a couple weeks when we have that update for you. Also coming from Roku today is a brand new device called the Roku Express 4K Plus. And this will replace the Roku Premiere, and at $39.99 is the least expensive 4K streaming device, cheaper than the Amazon Fire Stick 4K and the Chromecast with Google TV. And what's really nice about it, compared to the Roku Premiere, which it's replacing, it includes a Roku Voice Remote with TV controls, which was the biggest knock on the Roku Premiere. This means you can control power and volume directly from your Roku remote, and also has your voice assistant just like the Roku Streaming Stick Plus. So you might be asking yourself why you would spend $50 on a Roku Streaming Stick Plus instead of a Roku Express 4K Plus. Well, the biggest difference is 2 things. One, the Roku Streaming Stick is a stick form factor, so it has the built-in HDMI that you can just plug into the back of the TV. On top of that, it has more powerful Wi-Fi, so if your router is a little further away, you might choose that device over the Express 4K Plus. Besides the form factor and the wireless, they are virtually the same in terms of performance. Both devices support HD and 4K, along with HDR, HDR+. Neither support Dolby Vision or Dolby Atmos, which you'll still need the 2020 Roku Ultra to access that. On top of that, the Roku Express 4K Plus does have a micro USB port on it, which means if you don't want to use wireless, you can get an adapter so you can use Ethernet on the device. To me, this update is pretty exciting because it brings 4K streaming to even more people at an even lower price. And with more and more movies skipping theaters and going straight to your favorite streaming service, and those streaming services having more 4K content, it's exciting that you'll be able to do it and add it to additional TVs at a price point lower than $40. But probably the most exciting hardware update from Roku today is actually not a streaming player. It's a brand new remote. So we actually broke the news here at The Streamable of a leak a few months ago that Roku was testing a brand new Roku Voice Remote, and that is finally here. The Roku Voice Remote Pro has 2 really compelling features. One being that it has a rechargeable battery, so you won't need to keep on swapping out those AA in your Roku remote, and it also adds hands-free voice control. So just like you might say Alexa or OK Google, you can now say Hey Roku into this remote completely hands-free. You can launch channels, you can start and stop playback, you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can even control your TV by turning it off or controlling the volume. And if you lose the remote, there's even a feature where you can say, Hey Roku, where's my remote? And it will start beeping so you can easily find it, whether it's under your bed or between your couch cushion. This remote also brings some of the great features from the remote that you get with the Roku Ultra. There's personal shortcuts that you can add your own favorite commands to, and it also has private listening mode, so you can just plug in your headphones and listen without the world around you hearing. This is also the first remote that includes an Apple TV Plus button, so you'll be able to have quick access to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and now Apple TV Plus from your Roku remote. So how much will it cost? Well, it's a little pricey when you think about how much Roku streaming players cost. It's $29.99, which is only $10 less than the new Roku Express 4K streaming device. With that being said, with the money that you will save from not having to buy new batteries and the hands-free feature, if you want the best in Roku remotes, it's not that expensive. So the Roku Voice Remote Pro you can buy from Roku.com starting today, and then it will be available on other online retailers starting in mid-May. The Roku Express 4K Plus will be available on online retailers including Roku.com starting the middle of May. They're also going to have an exclusive Walmart edition which removes the remote with TV controls, and you'll save $5, so it will only be $34.99 at Walmart stores. So on top of all those hardware updates, Roku also came out with a huge software update called Roku OS X, and we're going to go through all those features right now. The first feature I'm going to tell you about is that virtual surround sound, which is coming to the Roku Smart Soundbar and the Roku Stream Bar Pro. You'll be able to access that immersive sound on those devices. But for those who have older streaming players, they are bringing AirPlay and HomeKit to all of their HD streaming players now. This past fall they brought it to their 4K streamers, but now if you have an older device like an old Roku Express, you'll be able to AirPlay directly to it, meaning it is the least expensive way to AirPlay from your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch. If you remember, the Live TV Guide launched last summer and it brought in a bunch of free live TV streaming channels, kind of like Pluto TV, but from the Roku channel. And some people got frustrated that there was just hundreds of channels in there, and especially for Roku TV users, where it got mixed up with those over-the-air channels. Well, now you can not only hide and show channels, but you can also build your favorite lists. They updated the look and feel so you now can access your recents, your favorites, and all channels with just a few clicks. So this is a huge enhancement for those who want to access their free streaming channels but don't want every single channel in their lineup. Another new feature in Roku OS X is something called Instant Resume, which will take the user back to the channel they last streamed when they relaunch the streaming service or streaming channel. This means that it won't take nearly as long to load, and some of those services that are available right away are AT&T TV and Starz and the Fubo Sports Network and Happy Kids TV. There's a full list down below, but you'll see they'll be adding more and more because this is a API OS level update, so streaming services and apps will have to integrate it to start supporting Instant Resume. Some additional enhancements that will make setup and use a little better is they now have automatic Wi-Fi detection, where they'll actually bring up a screen if they think there is a better Wi-Fi network or better Wi-Fi channel for you. So if you have networks that are both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, they'll figure out which is the right one for you, and if you're currently not set up on the right one, it will ask you if you want to switch. On top of that, they also have a new game configuration mode, so if you have a Roku TV and you have a game player, it will set up the TV with all the right modes so you have the best gaming experience on that that input. So when will you be able to get this update? Well, it will start rolling out across Roku streaming players over the next couple weeks, so make sure you check the About section on your Roku streaming player to see if you've been upgraded. There's no real way to force an update to get it sooner, but they are pretty quick at getting it out once they release it. So that's it. That's everything you need to know about the 3 new Roku streaming devices and the all-new Roku OS X. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button. The more people like this, the more people see it, and the more time I can spend bringing great content to you. And make sure you hit subscribe. You will have a chance to win a Roku Ultra if you are one of our first 10,000 subscribers. And we only have a few thousand to go, so make sure you don't miss your chance. And make sure you visit us all week long at thestreamable.com for the latest in streaming news and reviews. And for The Streamable, I'm Jason. Have a great week.